Hello everybody, I'm your host Partner, and today we're going to be talking about physical media and aspect ratios. I noticed a couple of YouTubers, especially the VHS community, um, hasn't been showing their videos in the proper ratio and distorting their images, and I'd like to talk about that. And so maybe if you don't know about this, you can be informed here. Um, Even though there's a couple of videos up on it, I know some people might be skeptical or whatever. So here you can hear it from me. I can tell you all about it. Starting right now. Alrighty, hello. We're at the TV. Here's what I mean by when I talk about the VHS people stretching their image. You'll notice the logos look kind of wide and fat. You'll especially notice this when you go to something like... Yeah, the hi-fi on this tape isn't very good. It's almost as bad as my copy of Alapalooza. I'm just fast-forwarding so I can get to a point in the film where you can realize... Yeah, notice these characters look really, kind of fat and whatnot. So here's how you fix that. You get your TV remote or a compatible universal remote for your TV. For this TV, it's an LG. You go to aspect ratio, and then you change it to the original. If you have it through what's in the composite cable, the yellow, the blue, and the yellow, the white, and the red, it should automatically come up when you click original. For most TVs in the 4:3 aspect ratio, if it does have those hookups. But if you have something like, I don't know, a switcher box that forces it on you, you might be out of luck. But if you have a TV like this, you can go and click ratio again, and it's 4:3 indefinitely. So that's that. And I'll show you what it looks like.
Just begun.
Doesn't that look better? The characters look more in proportion.
Fucking man, that's what I sound like.
I'm sorry about the swear words. This is Pulp Fiction after all. But you notice that there's black bars at the top and the bottom. Well, I'm gonna actually show you a laser disc to demonstrate this. I have a CD in here apparently. I don't know. I'm going to test it with a disc that's letterboxed. Usually at the... Oh, I just turned the player off, you clown. So yeah, here's my Laserdisc player. A good chunk of the titles you'll find on Laserdisc will say that it's widescreen. I know it's very hard to see back here, but it'll say stuff like, like letterboxed or widescreen like that one, or collector's widescreen or whatever. It's a company by company kind of thing, and era to era. I'm just gonna use my copy of Broken Arrow. Because this number 1 is my favorite logo ever. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you what I mean by letterboxed, and why we call it that, and how it kind of pushed the boundaries of video, as Sam Hatch would say. Kind of reiterating on what Sam Hatch said, aka Culture Dog. Sam Hatch, link down below to you, buddy. So, yeah, you'll notice at the beginning it'll go to, 20th Century Fox Home Video, blah, 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 blah. Fox Video. Oh yeah, I do have the remotes. I can fast for this. Wait, I gotta show you guys this. Wait. Wait. There we go. Sorry, I'm totally geeking out on this, but you know me. This is to say that your disc had Dolby Digital, and yeah, because analog is usually natively in 4.3. So yeah, you got the THX logo, and you notice that there's black bars on the top and the bottom. How you can fix that is you go into your ratio settings again, and then you click on zoom, and bada bing, bada boom, you're in business. So it should look like when you zoom in, it should look like you're watching a regular DVD or whatever it is. Honestly, I like the picture on Laserdisc over DVD. Personally, that's just my opinion. And regular Blu-ray is regular Blu-ray. It's just gonna pull up in 16:9, unless your player is set to 4.3. Then it's gonna do the same thing as it did kind of with the Pulp Fiction scene. It's gonna pull it side to side, but it's still gonna have more black bars on the top and the bottom. So what you gotta do is zoom in on it. Yeah, this is just meant to be a quick, simple, for my viewers who watch VHS tapes and are, I don't mean to be rude or anything, watching them improperly, how to watch them properly and whatnot, if they don't know already. So back to me. So yeah, getting back to what I just said in the previous clip. The original televisions back in the day were 133:1. That's why they look like squares. 4:3. Um, I don't know why it's 4:3, but it's 4:3. And then later on, starting in the 90s, but becoming the mainstay in the late 2000s, um, we got widescreen TVs, which are the same size as you're probably watching a laptop right now, television right now. Excuse me. Anything you're probably watching right now is 16:9, and because of that, um, the picture, you have two options. The TV automatically assumes, because apparently television stations were kind of training people for this. They were stretching the images from side to side, pulling them. I'm going to use Culture Dog's analogy, like taffy, and making the characters look short and fat, as he would say as well. And these 133:1 videos were completely, I don't want to say demolished, but you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, that's a big problem, and that's why to watch it properly, all you do is you even as sometimes your TV will force you to do it, but you can usually put it back to 4:3 with some settings on your remote. Uh, a couple clicks of a button, you should be back in business. Um, in that regard. And then zooming is for when you watch, you know, there's these, how do I explain this? Some discs are most discs, especially nowadays, all discs nowadays, unless it's a reprint of something, are what is known as an anamorphic disc, which means it's made for a 16:9 TV. Um, Laserdisc had this too, but how it worked back in the analog day was because you're working in a 4:3 frame. They filled the image. They put the image, but they squashed it in. But when you put it in your player and did all your settings, it would stretch it back and forward. And that's kind of what DVD does um, for those anamorphic discs. But most laser discs and a good chunk of the early DVDs have this problem where even if it's a widescreen movie, you're going to see if you have it properly set up, um, you're going to have black bars on all four sides, and that's when you click the zoom button. Um, also, not only do you have to make sure your TV is set to the right aspect ratio or being able to handle the make it 4:3 when it's supposed to be 4:3, you have to make your player do that as well. You'd have to go into your settings and um, it should be under like picture or whatever, and it should say TV aspect ratio. You should always click 16:9 original. That means that it's going to stay in its original ratio, but still be widescreen and have the black bars on the left and right. The only problem is when you have weird ratios, usually 166:1, which is very common, which is common for some of the 80s and 90s Disney movies, not all of them, but some. Of those movies were 166:1, and the problem is that when you zoom in, it's zooming in for a um, regular 16:9 frame, 178:1. Um, so it's going to cut off parts of your image. That's the one and only time that you're going to be screwed, unless you have a TV that can zoom by increments, which the Samsung TV in um, that room, it's mirrored for some reason, but the way I'm looking at it, I'm pointing the right way. I don't know if it's the right way. Anyway, that TV can zoom in as much as you need. Um, but the only problem is that there's no default zoom on that TV, so you have to manually do it every time, which is a pain in the butt. But anyway, enough about me complaining about that. So that's why a lot of Laserdisc enthusiasts, if they watch a movie on a widescreen television, they use the zoom function. A good chunk of televisions should have it, but not all of them do. So, excuse me, and not all of them are in the same location and the settings and whatnot. So you should read your manual and go download it. And yeah, the only problem might be is if you have, let's say, universal remote, and you have to change the settings through that. It might not work. That's the only time where you're screwed. But otherwise, you should be fine. And yeah, that basically wraps up the ideals I had to talk about for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, although it might have been kind of dry. Hopefully, it wasn't. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.